What's up, guys? Giver here, and today we got something a little special. Didn't have, another box to open for the giveaway box. We've already kind of opened that for the month, so the giveaway for that is going to be probably sometime next week. Whenever I do the whatever box opening I do for next weekend, but. So for this weekend, I picked up it's an old school thing. A lot of you probably won't even know what it is. But here it is. It's the Magic the Gathering Introductory 2-player set. Now this was something that was back from 1996, I believe. And there was a US version that did not look like this, and it just contained 4th edition cards. This is the UK or the European English version, and it had cards in it. They look like 4th edition, but in the bottom at the copyright, instead of it saying 1995, I believe, it has a different date. I believe it says 1996, or maybe instead of 1996 it says 1997. I'm not sure. We'll find out when we open it. But they are different. Some of them have alternate text, and so it's just kind of a, I kind of collect a little bit of everything, and this was a set that I didn't have, and it's very difficult to find the cards to make up this set, because most people, they're just mixed in with 4th edition. And I tried to email various companies and say, hey, look, I'm looking for 4th edition cards that have the wrong date on the bottom of them. They're from this 2-player starter set kind of thing, and most people just said, they weren't taking the time to go through that stuff. So there's nothing crazy valuable in here. They're just something cool. There's something alternate, and there's something that I wanted for my collection. I ended up picking this up on eBay. I was thinking about leaving it sealed, but I don't know. I'm not a sealed product collector. I'm a card collector. So these will get busted open and put in my binders. This was actually the very first pre-constructed deck that Magic ever did. And we'll kind of look on the back of it here. It says, "Are you ready to play?" It says, "Rival twin wizards, Kaz and Zach, will lead you through your first game of Magic as you and your opponent duel in the imaginary world of Dominia. This portable box contains everything 2 players need to learn the game." So it's got 2 60-card pre-constructed decks and then 2 guides. And if I remember right, it basically says, like, don't shuffle the deck, and it walks you through. The decks are stacked so that you can kind of walk through your first game step by step. So we're going to go ahead and bust this open, take a look at it. Like I said, there's not any crazy valuable cards in here. If you were looking through, if you're kind of looking through it, or if you were going through some 4th edition stuff and you didn't know what you were looking for, then you just think it was kind of 4th edition bulk. But for me, I've been kind of looking for this set for a little while. I don't know, it's a piece of nostalgia, it's a piece of Magic history. I probably shouldn't be opening it, but I am. So, anyway, so what you get inside, you get a little, there was an errata for one of the decks. You get a Kaz's guide and a Zach's guide. And so basically what this, look at it, it's going to say, your turn 4. It's going to kind of walk you step by step. Like I said, sorry, the decks are pre-sorted in here, so you're just ready to go. So it kind of walks you through your first game. pretty neat. So the intention would be one person has Zach's deck, one person has Kaz's deck, and then they take their manual and you sit down and you learn to play like that, which I think is really cool. I think it's something that that was a pretty good idea, honestly. So let's open up Kaz's deck first. It's got the little band thing, but I can't find where the little endpoint is. Huh. They didn't want to make it easy for you to get into, did they? Can't find the end. Oh, there it is. Found it. So, so anyway, what do we get here? These crazy looking backed cards are just basically little cards that go, you know, Wizards of the Coast, customer service, United Kingdom. Like I said, this is a European thing. A little flyer and a little card that goes through the attack sequence. So, you know, I'll be keeping those for the set. And then it says Kaz's deck. Do not open cards until instructed by the guide, and do not shuffle. So anyway, here's what I was talking about. So the cards basically look like 4th edition. But if you go here, it's got a 1996 symbol on it. And I believe that the old 4th edition cards had, it said 1995 on the old 4th edition cards. So these are a little bit different. So if you guys have any 4th edition cards laying around, you know, look through them and look at the little set symbol. See if you've got any of these, because these are really the only cards that are going to have that 1996 symbol. So this looks like it's a blue, red, black. So we got an island, mountain, swamp with the old artwork. Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. Iron Claw Orcs. Merc Dwellers. You get a mountain, an island, Twiddle. Such a good card back in the day. Lost Soul. Big 2/1 Swamp Walk. Ooh, Disintegrate. What a card. I loved those just rednecks deal damage to something. Zephyr Falcon. Unsummon, another good one. And the art on these old cards were just great. Pyrotechnics. The most generic goblins ever. Mons Goblin Raiders. Old Terror. That art always messed with me on that Terror. Remember being a kid. Scath Zombies. And you know, another cool thing about the old cards, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but one thing I liked about the older sets is that there was no real theme. Right, nowadays, all the cards have like a theme, like there's the Egyptian theme and the whatever, and so all the cards in that set fit that. And the flavor text tries to tell a story. Back in the day, the cards just had some really just cool art, and the art style would differ from card to card. I mean, you look at this one, and it looks like it's a nice, I don't know, pencil type drawing. And this one's more of a, you know, heavy brush stroke Not a whole lot of detail painting. But the other thing that really got me is the flavor text. They would a lot of times use flavor text from old books and things like that. This Scat Zombies flavor text is from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. To me, that's just cool. It basically lets you, when you were a kid, you had these generic zombies with this kind of creepy flavor text or whatever, and you could kind of just make up your own world. It wasn't forced on you. Anyway, another unsummon, another Zephyr Falcon, another Disintegrate, Hill Giant, 3/3 for 4, another Scat Zombies, Murk Dwellers, and so right here is basically where it tells you if you want to play the first guide, game over. So it tells you the order so you can play it again, but this is basically the little thing that says, look, your first game is supposed to be over at this point. But then they gave you some more cards so you could keep playing. I think there was actually another series that you could play with the whole deck. So you get Cursed Land, Clockwork Beast. It starts, you can kind of see how the first half was kind of basic creatures, things like that, and now you're getting to like, okay, well, you got an enchantment, you've got an artifact creature that's got a bunch of text, so the cards get a little bit more complicated as you go. Orcish Artillery, Jam-Day Tome. I always thought back when I was a kid, it was like 4 mana, tap it, draw a card. I was like, what a piece of trash. That's not very good. But then that new card came out in Rivals. It's 5 mana, tap it, draw a card, and people lose their minds. It's funny. Power Sync with the old artwork. Look at that artwork and tell me that it doesn't look like that guy just got done sneezing and he's just got boogers everywhere. You'll never be able to not see just boogers everywhere on that card. Some Vampire Bats. Oh, there we go. Fireball. Blow the crap out of some creatures. Battering Ram. Feedback. I remember I had a deck when I was a kid that just played things like, what was it? There was Feedback, Psychic Venom, I don't know, there were all kinds of these cards that you would put it on a type of card and then it would just slowly deal like 1 damage every turn. Or Psychic Venom, whenever they tapped a land, it would deal 2 damage to them. It was just kind of fun because you would just throw these cards all over their stuff and it would just slowly whittle them away. At least I thought it was fun when I was a kid. Energy Flux. Vampire Bats again. Detonate. Orcish Oriflamme. Phantom Monster, 3/3 flying. And again, flavor text. Edgar Allan Poe. It's cool stuff. Sorcerer's Queen. I loved this card. Loved it. Just make their stuff a 0/2. Boom. There you go. I used to take another deck that I had when I was a kid. It had the Sorcerer's Queens, and then it had these things called Nettling Imps that you would tap it and force one of the opponent's creatures to attack, and then send your vampires and Royal Assassins. And what I would do is I would use those Nettling Imps to force the opponent's creatures to attack, and you could kill it with the Royal Assassin once it became tapped to attack. But another cool thing you could do is turn something into a 0/2, force that 0/2 to attack, and then block it with your Send Your Vampire, so your Send Your Vampire got +1/+1. Old school deck building. Buggers. And finishing off with the Mons Goblin Raiders. So there's that. Got me some cool. I always love the art on these lands. So there's a lot of duplicates on here. Like I said, I just really wanted to make a set. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the other half, because I think the set is like 70 cards or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other half. It's weird because, like I said, you can't find these cards. Every now and then you can find the sealed package, but to find it's really weird to find the cards themselves. It's almost impossible. It really is, and a lot of people don't even know that this ever even existed. I have the same problem because not only was I trying to collect this, you can't find it on TCG Player, you can't find it any place like that because it's not even an option to search by for these introductory sets. I checked on YouTube. There's no other video on YouTube of anybody opening these things. The other thing that I'm looking for is there was alternate visions. There was something called a multiverse gift pack set. It came out before Visions, and it had like 5 booster packs of foreign old packs. And in there, it also came with like a little deck of 10 cards, or a little set of 10 cards that were from Visions. They were like preview cards for the upcoming Visions set. And what was funny about it is the art was just slightly different. The cards were just slightly off. So they're called the Multiverse Gift Box cards. I've got about half of them. There's 5 that I don't have. And those things are a pain in the ass to find too, because you can't just search for them on the internet. You can't like go to TCG Player and find people that have them. Most people don't even know what the hell they are. So I'm kind of looking for those as well. But anyway, so here's Zach's deck. So here we go. We got Forest, Plains, and Swamp. That's what we're dealing with here. So we got some Scrub Sprites, 1/1 flyers for 1, Pearled Unicorn. So here we go. We're getting into the basic stuff. So where this deck had like the Zephyr Falcon, this one's got the Scrub Sprites. Where the other deck, had the Scath Zombies, this one has the Pearled Unicorn. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same card, but Terror, Elven Riders, Alabaster Potion, Untamed Wilds, Bogwrath, Swamp Walk, Raise Dead, Healing Salve, the ultimate loser in that cycle of cards. I don't know, some people don't realize that there was a cycle, an alpha, of 1 mana cost spells for each color that had something to do with 3. So you had a Lightning Bolt that was red, deal 3 damage. You had Dark Ritual that was 1 black, get 3 mana. You had you had Healing Salve, gain 3 life. You had Giant Growth, 1 green mana, give a creature +3/+3. And then you had Ancestral Recall, which was draw 3 cards. So, Ancestral Recall kind of blew that cycle out, but it is a cycle. Then the Pearled Unicorn, Duskwood Boars. Always reminded me that, I don't know if it was Timon or Pumbaa, whichever one, Grizzly Bears. There's actually crazy people that just collect tons of grizzly bears. I don't understand it. Ball Gimp. Another Terror. Another Healing Salve. Another Alabaster Potion. Ball Gimp. Another Scrub Sprites. And Zach's deck is over. Whirling Dervish. This was a fun one. 1/1 protection from black at the end of any turn, which is damage an opponent. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. I actually won my very first Magic tournament. I was playing a black deck, and the opponent threw down a Whirling Dervish, and I didn't realize it had protection from black, and apparently my opponent didn't either. But it would have completely wrecked me, but neither one of us realized it had protection from black, so I ended up like casting Terror on it or something, and it died, and I ended up winning the tournament. I was like 10 or 11 or something like that, and it wasn't until afterwards the guy was like, "Oh no, it has protection from black." I was like, "Too late now." And I was a kid, so I think I got like a pack of Chronicles or something. Woo! Wall of Bone. I always liked this. It regenerated. Regeneration was badass. Warp Artifact. So here's another one of those ones you put it on an artifact, it just slowly just starts leeching damage. Circle of Protection. If you had the right Circle of Protection against the right deck, you're basically unkillable. Weakness. Always like that card. Mace of Pegasus. 1/1 flying with banding. A lot of people don't understand how banding works, but banding was a super powerful, ridiculous ability. War Mammoth. Circle Protection Black. Elvish Archers. Ooh, Dark Ritual. You can never have too many Dark Rituals. These things are cool. Rod of Ruin. Winter Blast. Another War Mammoth. Another Weakness. Another Pegasus. Glasses of Urza. So you had Glasses of Urza, and then you also had Sunglasses of Urza. Sunglasses were much more styling than just the glasses, but reverse damage, and that's it. So that's it. Hope you kind of enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. I remember when I was a kid, I had the American version of this, and me and a buddy of mine actually went through the Zach and Kaz's guide, step by step, playing the game. But like I said, the American version is just 4th edition cards. So when you open it up, all you're getting is just 4th edition cards. There's really no reason to open it. But if you're like a collector, like I am, that likes to try to collect a little bit of everything, and I keep all my cards in a binder, then, you know, these things are their own little set. I can actually, if we want to, show you where they'll go. So that right there, those are sets that I don't have, that I don't really have enough cards out of each set to make a whole set. Kind of going behind the scenes. This box has got, for instance, you know, the alpha cards. It's got alpha, beta, unlimited, revised, that kind of thing. Oops, there's trash. But there's like the alpha, beta type stuff. The rest of these little fat pack boxes are just random junk. If we go over here, this is kind of the sets. Some of them, like that right there, I pulled the Torrential Gearhulk out of the set for a deck. There, I pulled a couple cards out. But it's nowhere near complete. And then if we kind of go over here, this is where we have all of the cards that I build the decks out of. That kind of thing. So, there it is. I made a video once before talking about the way that I organize my collection. That was pretty early on, so I'll probably make another video just to show people how my organization is holding up, how I do things. But anyway, that's enough. Hope you enjoyed the video. I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have a box or anything to go over or to open up this week, so I figured this would be fun. Check out the collection, check out the old school cards. Hopefully some of you like it as much as I do. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have a excellent weekend, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.